Welcome to today's podcast, Freedom from the Desk. Today we're going to have a quick look at a really fun little exercise that I came across recently, and it's about finding a default positive memory. Now, let me explain a little bit. So, when things are not sort of going to crash hot in your day, you may be experiencing some issues, whether it's with a client or a family member or your partner or the kids are driving you up the wall. You're just hitting some roadblocks in your day and you're starting to feel yourself getting really wound up or anxious or just going into a space that's probably not so positive. We have these every day. I mean, it's just human nature to face these sorts of issues or roadblocks or whatever you want to call them. And this little exercise is just a nice way to break that pattern or break that thought that's coming into your mind that this is going to be a problem or if this is a hassle or I can't be bothered with this. And those sorts of negative mindsets and thoughts and ruminations that are creeping into our mind will just sort of grow and manifest into something that could become real estate that you don't taking up space in your mind and interfering with your way of life. So this little hack or this little tip about finding your positive memory is a really fun way to put a little bit of a roadblock in the way and stop that action or stop those thoughts from happening. And when I first heard it, I really struggled, if I'm being honest, to find my go-to positive memory. Because for me, when I think about a go-to positive memory, I think you automatically sort of go to like travel, or this is just me, like travel or the day you got married, or if you've had kids, or just something kind of, and I don't mean this in a horrible way, but something quite superficial. I think this thought is, or this positive memory, this default positive memory, needs to be a little bit deeper than that. And it's got to be something that sort of brings you purposefully away from where you are and reminds you of something that literally brings a smile to your face. And again, it doesn't have to be anything too earth shattering or, like some massive achievement or whatever. And there were a few key sort of memories that popped up for me. But there was one in particular that surfaced, and I sat on this for a while. I about it for a couple of days, which is unlike me. I'm a very sort of instant girl. And I'll share my memory. And that when I was about 8 or 10, I think, I'm not sure. We lived in New Zealand and I went to a public school called, I think it was Shirley Primary or Shirley Intermediate. And where we lived in suburbia, so we lived on a house in a corner section, and we're probably about 5 minutes away from the school walking, and on the other side of the intersection, on the other corner, was my auntie of my best friend. And when my best friend used to come over, she used to come over to my place and we'd sit outside on the curb on the edge of the street. And I don't honestly remember what we did, but we just sort of obviously chatted and maybe I can't even remember whether we looked at magazines or anything like that. I mean, we were maybe 10 or 12. I can't quite remember the age. But we just sort of sat and chatted on the edge of the thing. And my default memory is that memory of us just sitting there, the two of us, and it was quite a nice day, and just sitting on the edge of the curb on the street corner. Like literally I can remember outside our gate, and we had like a picket fence. My dad did this picket fence around the corner property. He was an avid gardener, so he loved his manicured lawns and garden and things like that. Everything was very neat and precise. And I remember he made this picket fence and painted it white. And we used to sit at the gate. That's my default positive memory. So not at all what I expected. So yeah, the whole purpose of a default positive memory is to disrupt basically something that's happening in your day, whether it's you get a shitty text or a phone call that might not be so positive, or you're dealing with like maybe a negative client if you're in business for yourself like I am, or you've got a job that you're not really in love with doing if you're sitting at a desk at work or something like that. I think this is a really nice exercise to find a memory that sort of brings that spark of joy. When you think about it, you just think about what it conjures up. And for me, I suppose it's just a simpler time. It was just two kids, two best mates, not a worry in the world, no worries about money or life. It's a lovely, lovely memory. And those are free, obviously. And it's something that you can just store and bring to the fore when you need it. So I would love for you guys to have a crack at finding your default positive memory. And yeah, as I said, I would really implore you to not go for the ones that probably surface straight away. I mean, some of you might instantly know what your default core memory is, and it absolutely brings a smile to your face, and it absolutely brings joy. And you can just sit there and you instantly smile, and it instantly brings joy, and that's great. I didn't have that experience so much. I sort of had a whole stack of them sort of pass through, and that's what made me think, no, I'm just gonna ponder on this a little bit and see if I can find one that's a bit more grounded and I think what's needed for this exercise. So yeah, have a think about what your default positive memory is. And just remember that when things happen during your day, or if you're stuck in traffic or you're getting angry at something, or something's just not working quite as it should be within your day, just to sit privately in yourself and bring that default positive memory forward and just let it sit there and let it wave over you, and then give yourself a few moments and then just go back to doing what you're doing and see how that works for you. I would love to know. I think this is a really good little tip for anybody, whether you're in the business realm, whether you're self-employed, whether you're parents, whether you're retired, whether you're younger, whatever the case may be. I really implore you to give it a go and let me know. I would love to hear if anybody actually tries this, because I found it really, really, really beneficial. So I'm going to be sharing a lot more of these little tidbits, these little nuggets that I come across. I'm reading a lot, and anybody that follows me on social media will know that I've managed to break through the reading barrier that I have. So I'm reading a lot more, and I'm listening to a lot more of a really amazing podcasts on my self-development and just looking after me a bit more. And one of the joys of being self employed is that you tend to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole of loneliness. And I want to flip that script and share some of these little nuggets that I find for you guys and talk about lots of other things as well. So I'm going to be recording a few podcasts today, and we'll see those come out over the next couple of weeks that I want to share with you guys. So until the next podcast, have an awesome day and keep shining.